Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nolo Pujuju and this is Study CTA Nolo. Study CTA with Nolo, where we get smart. I promise you, you will get smart. It might not sound like it was my intro, but you will get smart. Anyway, guys, this is my second video in a month, I think. So I'm doing so well. I'm slaying in life. Anyway, I was reflecting on my PhD on the growth that is taking place. And I was thinking about you guys, as I always do. So let me share what I'm talking about, right? So 3 years ago, if you asked me, how's the PhD going? I would say it's going great. Okay? Good answer. Good answer. But let me just define what I meant by great. Okay? What I meant by great was I'm at a stage in my PhD where I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going, and I don't know how to get there. And I also don't know where I am right now. So my doing great was a lot of I don't knows. And it was a lot of I would do something. Let's say I deal with a chapter that I'm dealing with or a phase of the research I'm dealing with. I do it. After doing it, I discovered that I did it wrong or I did something wrong. And then I must either do it again or there's no way of doing it again. I must figure something out. Okay. So that was a whole painful experience. That was my grade. So I just didn't. When someone would say, how's it going? And that's why I chose like an end date. Okay, now I've shifted it. But I just needed to have an end date so that I don't end up complaining about how I don't know what's going on with my PhD. So if someone says, how's it going? When are you finishing? I say in 2023. That's it. I'm finishing in 2023. That was it. That was my safe answer. And the detail behind that was just this state of not knowing, state of sometimes frustration because I feel like I'm putting in effort and nothing's happening. Now, fast forward to now, I actually realized like 2-3 months ago, I realized the shift. Now, I don't know when the shift took place, but I just realized that I only realized that the shift had taken place about 2-3 months ago, right? So again, I was thinking about my PhD and somebody asked you what's going on, how's it going? You're like, oh, it's going great. And remember what my great means, right? My great means, we don't know where we're going, but we'll be just fine. And I remember after the conversation sitting back, when I was alone thinking, but wait, it actually isn't going great. I think I'm actually doing quite well. As in, I think I've actually grown. I'm not at the same place that I was 3 years ago. I'm not struggling with the same things. Yes, there's certain things I struggle with, but I'm not struggling with the same things. Those things that were bothering me before, I figured them out. Some of them, 1 or 2 things are still left over, but I'm not so afraid of them. I feel a lot more confident when I approach my PhD. I think I have an idea of where we're going. So I'm not the same person that I was 3 years ago. And there's this shift that took place. I don't know when it happened. I don't know how long at what pace or what rate it happened, but there has been a shift. I was like, hey, I'm not standing still. And that's the biggest thing. I am not standing still. The time I put in, the effort that I put in, that on many days feels like I'm doing absolutely nothing in the greater scheme of things. I wasn't standing still. Something was happening. And that felt great. Realizing that has been amazing, especially for my mental health in the past few months. It's been amazing because I realized, girl, you might not feel it, you might not see it, but you're actually moving forward. And I'm so glad, excuse me guys, I've caught a bit about runny nose from my daughter. I'm so glad I figured this. I've come to this realization because now I think like, wow, 3 years ago, I was so afraid of what was happening and what it looked like. And I could have easily said, because I don't know where I'm going, because I don't know how to get there, I'm just going to not do it. And if I had done that, I would be at exactly the same spot that I was 3 years ago. But I, went ahead with whatever I was trying to figure out, and I'm not missing spot. So that is really encouraging for me. And I then started to think about my time as a CTA student. I remember, I'm so sorry, guys. I promise I won't do that again. Okay, I won't do that again. I remember I was in my CTA year, ne, we had like this informal test that we had to take. It was like a class test, but not like one that counted marks. It was just practice. And I remember for that test, I think I either got like 16 or 20%. It was just dismal. And this was in financial accounting. Guys, financial accounting was a subject where I got a distinction in undergrad. So when I finished my third year. So come to CTA and I'm just like, okay, if I'm ranking this one, what's going to happen with the others, you know? And I think it's that it was that same thing that happened now with my PhD. That's what happened at CTA. There was a lot of putting in time that just seems aimless. Putting in time where you just feel lost. You know, in our perfect world, when we are studying, we sit down, we do what we say we're going to do, we finish what we say we're going to finish, and we understand everything we've studied. That's our perfect world of I have studied. And my study days did not look like that in CTA. There were a lot of days of just like, what's going on? Did I do enough? You know, I don't understand these questions. Why am I doing this? Those were my CTA days. But somehow in those great, weird looking days, I was growing. And by the end of the year, I was able to pass. I actually passed that subject quite well, in fact. And again, I can't pinpoint the time when growth happened, right? It was just steadily happening. And I wasn't feeling it as it was happening, but it was happening. And I think that is like one of the toughest things we experience when we're studying CTA is that you are growing, you are getting better, but everything is still so confusing. There's so much of a remorse. Like you just, you know, it looks like the math is not mathing. It's like, what's going on over here? But something is going on. You are progressing. You are growing. The most important thing, like I said, is just don't stop. Right? Just don't stop. Like if I had decided I'm not doing this thing 3 years ago because I don't know what's going on, this is just too intimidating, I would be at exactly the same point that I was 3 years ago. Whereas now I'm not. I'm not done yet, but I'm not at exactly the same point. And some might say, oh, you know, after 3 years, that's all you got. You know, really, is that really growth? It is. It is growth, right? Because when you're pursuing, there's certain things that we pursue that are just sometimes bigger than ourselves. And also like also very importantly, like don't compare your experience to somebody else's, right? If I was to sit here and compare my PhD journey to somebody else's experience, I will go insane, right? It's not the same. We are not on the same path. You look at yourself and you compare yourself today with your yesterday and you see how you're growing. How are you getting better? And if you're not getting better, how can you start getting better? Excuse me. Yeah. And that's it, guys. You know, so that's it. So like, yeah, that's been my vibe. That's what like that's my cloud nine that I'm riding on now with my PhD. That you know what, you are growing. It might not feel like it, but you are. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my musings. I will chat to you next time. Bye.